Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. A lot of talk about the Panasonic G85. I have it here for testing. I'm really liking the camera. We have a neat little mini user review, if you will, some feedback, a user review from one of our viewers. I have here I printed it off because the laptop's been making some whiny noises with the fans lately. So Steve Ferneyhough. Hope I'm saying that right, Steve. I upgraded from the G6, so we had the Panasonic G6, and have now got the G80 85. So that's the G85 if you're here in North America, G80 in Europe and other parts of the world. It is great so far. The advantages being the IBIS, weather seal body, no AA filter, and he says brackets, sharper, more detailed images. Battery grip option. The negatives for me are no slow motion video option, no headphone port, brackets, to monitor audio while shooting video, and the microphone port is on the side in an awkward place. Tends to get in the way when using an external microphone, a pain when you are vlogging alone. For example, I try to compose the image, go around to the front of the camera, try to flip screen, but the mic jack gets in the way. A little side note, the way I've gotten around that is if you just use the hinge and flip the screen back just a little bit, then flip it, then pop it back in. I know what you're saying because I've experienced that myself, but once you get used to just moving the hinge and flipping the screen back just a little bit and then spinning it and putting it back, it's quite an easy workaround, and it works fine for me. Let's see, what else does he say? It is still worth getting, considering, though, another plus is having image stabilization for my Olympus MFT lenses. And he's got a smiley face there. So there's Steve, basically really liking his G85. A couple minor points, his negatives. No slow-mo video. To me, not a big deal. To you, I don't know. What do you think? No headphone port. Again, this has never been a big deal for me. Most of the video I'm doing, I've usually got the settings nailed down anyways. I really don't, I don't know. I know a lot of people do a lot of video, do like the headphone port. I'm not into like really advanced, like I'm not out there shooting the next Star Wars movie. So, if I was, I probably would want the headphone port, probably get the GH4 just for that alone, or the new GH5 that will, hopefully be out soon. So for me, the negatives, I really haven't experienced any negatives. No slow-mo didn't even come into my mind. The headphone port hasn't been an issue for me. But what about you guys? Are those things that you guys wish you had? Bear in mind here, the G85 is not a GH5. You can't get everything that's going to be in their flagship for a lesser price, or else they would just sell you the flagship for the lesser price. That's just the way of the world, Like if you want a Ford Focus, don't expect it to drive the same as a Ford Taurus or one of their high-end vehicles. It's just different differentiation in the price line and the model line. So I think what you get for the price on the G85 is pretty much second to none out there. Very nice camera, as is still the G7. The G7's still a beautiful camera, and the prices are nuts. You can see it now for like $500 and less with a lens. Good time to buy a G7 if the IBIS, that's the one thing that would be the deciding factor for me. I'm not saying there's not other advantages to the G85. There's a few. But basically the IBIS would be my hinge point. If I can live without IBIS, I save the money and get the G7. If I really want that IBIS, I go to the G85. So obviously I'm lucky. I've got extended loan from Panasonic on a G85. But yeah, Steve's got some great points here, and I just wanted to pass along his little mini user review. It's always good to hear other people's feedback, other firsthand users' experience, how they're liking the camera. Just to add to that, I'm loving the camera. I've mentioned it a few times here, and people seem to think I haven't responded about the IBIS and the video thing. I haven't noticed that problem. I was going to do some testing, and now there's a new firmware out this morning. So don't need to. I say this morning, this video may be released a day or two after, so it may not be the same morning, but there's a new firmware out that Panasonic has released for that. Speaking of which, kudos to Panasonic. How many other companies respond this fast to complaints or issues? Some of the companies, I'm not going to name names, they bury their head in the sand and don't address an issue for a long time until the uproar gets huge. This was I'm going to say a little problem, and hopefully Panasonic has addressed it and fixed it, and right away with expedience. Kudos to Panasonic. let's just, even if this firmware didn't fully address it, they worked on it right away. They'll work on it till they get it fixed. That's the history that I've seen from Panasonic. I think Panasonic's a great company. They make great products and they stand behind their products. Similar to Fuji that way. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know about the negatives that Steve mentioned. Are they issues for you? Let me know if you're shooting the G85, the G80. I want to hear your feedback. How's it going so far? How's your user experience been? Leave in the comments below. As always, I'll put some links below. You can check out the G85, G80, depending on where you are, on Amazon, and you can see all the other user reviews there and the best price. And hey, maybe you'll get a deal because Black Friday's coming up. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.